Yeah, sure thing. Thanks very much. And really grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all. And, my association with Prevencio started several years ago when we started discussing how we might be able to develop novel panels utilizing the approach that Rhonda described to develop better means by which to judge the presence or risk for complications of cardiovascular disease. So specifically, rather than holding on tenaciously to one biomarker or another, I think one of the fallacies that exists in the in vitro diagnostics world is, companies holding on dearly to the biomarker that they love so much, like a natriuretic peptide or a troponin. What we did was we approached the problem from what's called an inductive approach, which is starting with a large number of proteins and letting the machine learning algorithms identify the independent predictors for the outcomes that we were looking for, and then subsequently developing in a much more complex fashion than just simply saying one marker abnormal, two markers abnormal. We actually developed numerical algorithms that help us to more accurately predict the presence of whatever outcome we're looking for. And on the next slide are the two major flagship panels that Prevencio is currently focused on, although we've come up with, I think we're on to 7 panels at this point for different disease states. The two that are worth focusing on are panel number 1, which is CVE, which stands for cardiovascular events, which is a panel designed to predict the risk for major adverse cardiovascular events, the so-called triple MACE endpoint that we frequently see in clinical trials of non-fatal MI, stroke, or cardiovascular death. And then the second panel is one that's focused more on an anatomic diagnosis, that being the presence of obstructive coronary artery disease.